in that if you strike for a prolonged period of time or use tactics, that tactics may be even perhaps more aggressive than a peaceful protest, whatever that is, it is to achieve a goal. It is not just to crash the economy for the lulls or for the kick or whatever you're doing it for, right? There has to be an end goal, and most likely it is to get bargaining or more workers' rights for you and your fellow workers. That's the idea. The only two demands they've ever made in this is to end any and all COVID restrictions and safety procedures, all of them, or that the government resigns in disgrace. Like, obviously not demands that a government is going to meet or be able to appease them. Don't you guys think that some online leftists obsessing with defending right-wing shit on principle is just a little fruitless, naive, since this favor will never be returned? I've seen so many weird arguments in like the past even week or so of people genuinely saying that like, well, why aren't we siding with them because, you know, they've actually impacted and hurt capital. You know, they blocked the bridges and that really took a chunk out of capital. That's destroying capital. And first off, I was like, I don't know what you think the goals of the left are. Like this isn't a video game. You don't like hurt capitalism a couple times, take off a couple hit points, and all of a sudden you can unlock like fucking communism, like achievement unlocked. You've defeated capitalism. You know, you've hurt enough businesses at once. The end result of those actions that they were doing is twofold. One, thousands of people who would be working in those factories aren't going to be receiving salaries for that set period of time. But two, it galvanized enough people in Canada and Justin Trudeau to enact the Emergency Measures Act, of which the provisions that are going to affect FinTrack, those ones will be permanent unless they get dialed back by you know, Parliament at one point or another. And I don't see a concerned push for that right now. So it doesn't necessarily work that way. Like it's not like if you could just, like, I think maybe you've been watching Fight Club or something. Like if we just blow up the banks in Roblox, apparently we'll you know, achieve a socialism or something to that effect. And I think a lot of people also, especially if you're not inside Canada, you haven't been observing how the founders of this entire thing from the ground up, like the 4 key founders, and well, I mean, 5 of them have almost all been arrested now. All of them have ties to the far right in Canada. Yes, it's a huge fucking problem that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals and the liberal media immediately were like, every single one of them is a Nazi because there's a Nazi flag or something like that. Like there is an undercurrent of thousands of people in this country who are clearly very upset with the government, not just vaccine mandates, but really upset with Justin Trudeau. What they you know, have characterized as like the liberal elites that control the country, that kind of stuff, and they're just being all brandished as deplorables in the same way that Hillary Clinton did that, right? Rather than trying to address what exactly is causing this fervor in the country. And then the whole thing just continued to escalate and blossom. Like there should not be this idea, I think, where all of a sudden it's like, let's either endorse or unite with people who are espousing fascism or like white supremacy or things like that. Like, you know, look towards what Patrick King was doing. Look towards what all these other individuals were doing. Like, I hate to both sides this one. I hate to fucking do one of these. But at the end of the day, like, they were both fucking this thing up from the ground up and giving more fuel and power to a movement that is now somehow on of what they think is like, we're going to achieve either an end to all mandates, and I'm sorry, but like COVID mandates or COVID safety procedures, wearing a mask, social distancing, lockdowns, vaccine mandates, all that kind of stuff, it's to protect the most vulnerable members of society. Like, what you're really saying when you're like, I'm not going to wear a mask, I want freedom, it's like, well, okay, this itchy piece of fabric that displeases me, because yeah, no one likes having to wear a mask in public, no one enjoys these, but like, it's more important for you to not have to feel slight discomfort on a regular basis than it is to potentially infect other people with you know, a virus in a pandemic. We're in a fucking pandemic. I think people have completely forgotten of that aspect sometimes. It's just like, yeah, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic. This shit sucks. It's terrible. But do you not want to protect the most vulnerable members of society in the process? Well, look at Denmark. Denmark is you know, obviously removed all of theirs because they're progressive. It's like, Denmark's numbers are now fucking out of control. Absolutely out of control in the verge of all this. Anyway, sorry, I'll stop ranting. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we are watching what is to be, I guess, the swan song of the occupation in Ottawa. and what has been taking place there. It has been, because I've been watching it since it started in the morning, probably the least violent, I would say, police disbursement of a protest / occupation of the size that I've witnessed. It has been remarkably unviolent. There has been obviously a lot of arrests. Over 100 people have been arrested. The least violent, but the most cringe. Fair assessment. Good call out, Shrinking Circle. That's probably the best way of summarizing this whole thing. Plus, Denmark has way better healthcare infrastructure, and the overall the population is healthier. Yes, also very, very true. Yeah, that's also an important point to bring up in this entire thing. Related memery. Okay, Canada right now. Hold the line, truckers for freedom, trucker convoy. Yeah, this is definitely what's happening. There definitely hasn't been like a mass exodus. Like fucking one of the founding members of the whole thing fucking skipped Dodge, just flew the coop. Was like, all right, well, we all achieved something. Hope you have a great time. You know, much love to you all. I'm going on Tucker Carlson. I'm just going to embrace that new fame that I found myself in. But yeah, sorry, to put a cork on this whole idea that like all the weird shit coming out of people on the left trying to say like, you know, maybe we should be aligning with this, or maybe we should be doing something else to this effect, or you know, finding a unity in this. If you are doing a general strike or a workers' strike, you are doing that to achieve something. In that if you strike for a prolonged period of time or use tactics, that tactics may be even perhaps more aggressive than a peaceful protest, whatever that is, it is to achieve a goal. It is not just to crash the economy for the lulls or for the keck or whatever you're doing it for, right? There has to be an end goal, and most likely it is to get bargaining or more workers' rights for you and your fellow workers. That's the idea. The only two demands they've ever made in this is to end any and all COVID restrictions and safety procedures, all of them, or that the government resigns in disgrace. Like, obviously not demands that a government is going to meet or be able to appease them with in any way, shape, or form. So unreasonable demands, a loose connection of a whole bunch of different groups, infiltrated by lots of the radical far right, QAnoners, the so-called Queen of Canada, all that kind of shit. We've seen so much strange over the last little while, and I think, you know what? The only thing I can genuinely thank the Convoy protesters for is that I think it has shattered the image globally that, you know, the far right is not alive and well in Canada, that there isn't a separate system of rules that apply, that white supremacy and the structures of white supremacy are not active in this country. They almost certainly are. It is incredibly telling how everyone was treated in this process from the beginning until now. This is the crackdown that you have witnessed today. This is supposed to be like the full force of the police, empowered by the Emergency Measures Act of Canada. This is supposed to be the most, like, look what you are seeing, you know, going on right now. This is as violent as it has gotten the entire time. There hasn't even been tear gas. There hasn't been anything.
Broke for dinner. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm sad to see this. This is a sad day. These men and women have the toughest decision to make. We've already made our choice standing here. Like I said in the conference the other day.
What is this? CEO of the National Council of Canadian Muslims. A lot of people have been arguing that the protests are super peaceful. Today, as the crackdown on Ottawa siege began, one of the protesters tried to pick a fight with me on my way home. He leaned into my face and screamed freedom. I told him politely, I would think, to take a step back. He came up, so he was literally pushing me and screaming that I should go back to where I came from. I wonder what animated that. I told him not to touch me. He said, what are you going on about? I had no interest in getting in a fist fight with this individual, but I repeated to him again that he needed to back off now. I think he saw the look in my eye and decided to back off. I'm pretty privileged. I'm a larger dude, and my dad put us through every martial arts training regimen possible. I generally feel safe walking outside, but I refuse to be intimidated. But this is not what I would call a peaceful protest. Also, I was unable to get my cell phone footage of him. I had both hands out of my pockets in case I had to defend myself, but he's on Slater and Metcalf and still has a large drum and dreadlocks. Whoa, I wonder if it was that drum and dreadlocks guy earlier who was in the footage for like the vast majority of a lot of this. Also, to my friends and colleagues in political parties that I normally meet all the time with on the Hill as we advocate in non-partisan fashion, I genuinely wonder how we are going to be all right. What is going to be the path forward?
Been caused, and also
good for you for
exposure to civil lawsuits such as the class action suit being brought forward on behalf of the residents of Ottawa seeking damages.
Yeah, and we've certainly seen the police stopping these trucks as they try to leave, and some of our colleagues, I know Christopher Nardi from Post Media has posted a picture of them handing tickets to people as they were leaving with their flags and their Freedom Convoy stickers on their windows and writing down the license plate. So there's certainly an attempt to bring some accountability there. But I wonder, sir, what do you make of a couple of things with the leadership of this movement?
The difference is
the police action to arrest people like Tamara Leach and Chris Barber.
Oh, it's pronounced Leach? I've been saying Lich. I'm going to stick with Lich.
The fact that BJ Ditchter, who's one of the other leaders, has left after they've repeated this mantra of hold the line, hold the line. They've either been taken into custody or they've gotten out of town. I mean, what kind of an impact can that have on the determination of the people who are left?
Well, it's certainly demoralizing for the group on the ground. I mean, they would have been told and would have expected to see their fearless leaders to stay. I do think it's been very smart on the police's part, and no doubt Crown prosecutors, to proceed with ordinary criminal charges against the leadership. In other words, they're not mobilizing the special penalties under the Emergencies Act to lay these charges. Ordinary criminal charges, counseling mischief, breaking bail conditions and so forth. These are going to be much less susceptible to these court challenges that I'm warning are definitely coming. And it is a very smart strategy indeed.
Do you think those are the extent?
Total sidebar, but apparently Netflix just ordered 4 more Dave Chappelle specials. I told everyone that was going to happen. I was like, oh, he'll get another 4 and like 50 million or something like that.
Not TV. It's like TV, but it's not TV. Live on Facebook. I'm Travis. Chad's somewhere out here. I think Kyle's somewhere out here too. How's it going?
How are you?
Good. Out here with the GoPro.
Out here with the GoPro.
I'm on Facebook, and these people have been mentioning you. They said they love your feeds.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
My dad actually sent me one of your feeds the other day, and I was like, man, I was in the same room. Like, you don't have to send me this. My dad's been sending me like 50 tweets an hour.
That's awesome. Man, it's cool that there's so many people covering it, right? Like,
yeah,
you just got to keep...
You can't hide it.
No, you can't hide it. That's it. Like, one camera isn't able to be in every spot at the same time. So if everybody gets their phones out, right? Take pictures, stream videos, document this, share this, let the world know. Get the truth out.
Andrew and I have been saying from the beginning, this is hashtag too big to cancel.
I like that. Right?
Making so much money. The super chats flowing into these streams.
Did they need these measures to be able to make these arrests, to start this police action, and to get this level of reclamation happening in the downtown core?
Well, completely simply, yes. You needed the Emergencies Act to cut through all the jurisdictional problems. That is the reason we're seeing all these police officers working in unison from multiple agencies on the ground today.
Told me I shouldn't be in town today because she already knew that this was going to happen, and they brought in swarms of national reporters to cover this because they knew it was happening today, and they're with the police officers. So,
oh, well, let's just go home then. It's all covered.
It's all covered, guys. Don't even worry about it. I don't even know why anyone's here.
That doesn't even make sense because we live in a world where each company has a different point of view. It used to be a competitive industry, right? Yeah. CTV, who gets the breaking story? Who gets the exclusive? Who gets the better angle? Yeah. Right? Why would you tell another news organization just go home, or any media person for that matter? Yeah. I'm doing a documentary. No, you go home, we'll send you our footage. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, narrator.
Yes, this is actually live here. I'm going to flip around for a minute. You don't mind being on it for a second?
No.
You want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, of course. My name's Jeremy. I'm here with Trucking for Freedom. We left our homes, I don't know, a month ago because we decided to come out and cover this story. Andrew and myself, and yeah, we started filming. We realized that it was going to be too big. We decided that we put out a call to anyone with footage. So Canadians all across the country have been sending us footage, and we're going to make a documentary on the real story of what happened here.
Oh, please. Please.
A documentary by Canadians for Canadians. So free of charge, always on our website, forever free. That's what we're trying to do here. This is too important not to catch, guys. This is what has to happen before blood gets shed. Because if these people aren't here doing what they're doing right now, it breaks my heart. I've been crying all day. Because these
blood gets shed, like, over a vaccine mandate. Like, we're ready to violently overthrow the government because we want to go into shopping malls and we want to go clubbing and eat in restaurants again. This communism must end.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Anything else you want to say tonight, or anything on your heart?
I just appreciate anyone who's sharing this. Seriously, screen share this, share it everywhere. This is important, guys. This is important, and it's not just Canada that's watching, it's the entire world that's watching. So it warms my heart that Canada is doing this. It warms my heart that the world cares, that the world is
good on them, good on them.
On right now. And my prayer is that what happens here is heard around the world. It's important, guys. It's important. Freedom is important. Freedom is
yeah, no
worth
shit.
it.
Like, subscribe, share it. Make sure, hit the thumbs up button, comment down there. That's the only way we'll achieve true freedom.
In people's points of view too, like anybody that ends up getting down here and then they have a change of heart, or people that actually start to understand.
We've been seeing that. We've been seeing that nonstop the whole time we've been down here. We've been seeing hearts shift. I've actually seen some anti-protesters come down here and end up giving truckers money, believe it or not, because they have been so lied to about what's actually happening down here. They come down here and they're moved, and they say stay as long as you want.
Sure, that's a true story. Yeah, I'm sure people who came all the way down to Ottawa to protest this fucking clown shoes operation were also like, oh my god, whoa, I had no idea. Well, now that I met you all and I've enjoyed the hot tubs and the bouncy castles and I've truly tasted the freedom that you offer, I was wrong. I was led astray. Well, here, have my money. I have money to give. Here, have my jewels. Have it all.
They'll bring them to their side, or I just saw somebody else put a hand on somebody's shoulder and just look them in the eye with love and compassion.
That protester's
it's
name.
understandable, guys.
Albert Einstein.
This is a peaceful demonstration. It's been peaceful for what?
And that
3 weeks
protester
now?
grew
That's
up to
incredible,
be
first and foremost.
Albert Einstein.
But above and beyond that, you have to understand why there might be some aggravation with these people. These people have lost their lives. Like I know people that are now homeless because of some of the mandates that have been implemented here, and I'm not one of them. I got coerced into getting this jab, and I'm like, whatever. I made my own decisions, but just so you know, like I'm down here because of freedom, not because of anti-vaccine. And it's important because the majority of people down here are exactly that. They're here.
What are you all saying? What does this mean? You just keep saying freedom, like freedom. What do you think this word means?
They're here for.
I'm actually vaccinated. I have no qualms with the whole vaccination program at all. Actually, I did. Yeah, but anyways, no. This was and always is about freedom.
For our freedom.
I know a bunch of homeless people who lost their homes because of COVID measures.
Prove that this emergency act is worthy, then
it's basically showing that the Conservatives' tight walk has been working, but it's not a monstrous, like a +5. That's not outrageous to say the very least, but yeah. Makes sense. They've been flirting with this, but at the same time keeping arm's distance just to make sure the more extreme elements of it. Like we don't support the 11 people who got arrested, and many of whom were supposed to apparently allegedly plan a plot to murder a bunch of RCMP officers and had a huge, cache of weapons. We don't endorse them or the people who've been blocking the bridges, of course, and the multiple border crossings. Although we do endorse the Alberta one a little bit, but at the end of the day, this isn't really about that. This is about freedom. Freedom for all Canadians.
And that's why people are out here today. That it's not about anti-mandates. It's not about mandates. It's not about anti-mask. Like, people are out here because Canada is on the line.
Yeah, and to hold the people.
Okay, so the whole thing is just accelerated? Like, then what are the demands meaningless when they were like, okay, we demand an end to all vaccine mandates, all COVID mandates and restrictions, or Justin Trudeau resign in disgrace, one of those. And it's like, okay, well, it actually has nothing to do with that at all. This is, and always was, about freedom. Well, then what does that mean? Like, fucking explain yourself.
Shields.
Yeah.
They're having the best 3 weeks they've ever had. There are bouncy castles down here. There's love in the streets. I have little kids come up to me, like 10 years old, fearless, come up to me and fist bump me and say, freedom! And you say, yeah! And then they go off and they fist bump the next guy, freedom! Like, it's beautiful, guys. The poor kids have had 2 years of just... I can't even imagine. Like, I can't put myself in an 8-year-old's head with what's happened over the past 2 years. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And when you were saying, like, we have our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and that can't be taken away, it doesn't mean somebody won't try to take it away.
That's right. That's totally right. It doesn't mean that somebody won't try to take it away, but it's really important that you remember that you have those rights. And it's really important that you stand up for those rights, because nobody can take them away, but you can freely give them away. And that's unfortunately what's happened a lot here in Canada. You can freely give them away. And we've been coerced, we've been tricked, we've been manipulated, but you can freely give them away. I comply is me saying, yes, take my rights, take my freedoms.
Yeah. Good point. And then with the police, it's do you understand too? Because that's a way of also just agreeing to. It just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that we don't actually know. We have to educate ourselves, each other. That's why documentaries are so powerful, and what you're doing with being able to show people and help people feel. Who couldn't join the convoy all the way out from Western Canada, right?
That's right.
Like, how powerful is that going to be? Some of the images you got already, how powerful is it?
It's incredible. Driving out here, it feels like it was 2 years ago because it's been so crazy over the past few weeks. But driving out here, I kid you not, every 200 meters, and I mean like driving through Saskatchewan, driving through Manitoba, where I actually didn't think that people lived outside of the big cities, and you just get like every 200 meters, there's a massive group of people just waving, cheering you on, holding signs up, say, we support you, truckers, and they're everybody that you can imagine. There's Sikh families on the side of the road. There's Hutterite families on the side of the road. You go through the major cities, and it's wild. It's so crazy. There's so many people. The whole cities were just... And when we went through Winnipeg, I think half of Winnipeg followed. Like, you guys don't understand the magnitude of what happened here and what has been happening here.
And then those people have been following the story ever since. Like, they've been sharing it. This has gone around the world. Like, if you're just watching this on CBC or CTV, you do not have the full perspective.
Yeah. And I think what's really important to remember is the reason that the people here have such a strong will to do what they're doing is because of that. Driving across the country, they were commissioned by all of Canada. They were sent by all of Canada. These
It's like he had to drive around the country to realize this, like, Canada happens to be diverse. It's like, it wasn't until then I realized there was other people here.
children sent them, their friends they sent them, and then as it globalized, like this story globalized, the world sent them, and the world is watching, guys. Like, Ukraine might be going to war, and there's stuff going on in the world, but eyes are on Canada. Like, it's important what's going on here. I've been on talk shows with people in Germany, throughout the States. Everybody's messaging me, trying to understand what's happening in Canada. Don't let the legacy media squash this, because this is pure, this is beautiful, and it's happening.
Yeah, and it's happening in the minds and the hearts of the people. Like, it's not just you can't turn on your TV and be like, oh, okay, there's some police moved in and it's over now. No, the shift has happened. It's happened when people drove across Canada and the world united.
Yeah,
it was a paradigm
it's beautiful.
shift.
And you know what? Like, they might be able to shut this down here, but
both are in Toronto.
March 5th,
Thank you very much for joining
the United States is doing their own
Well, thank you, dude.
Karen MacArthur, I'd like to start with you if I could. Police have made arrests, more than 100 people so far, 21 vehicles towed, and most of the charges seem to be multiple various offenses including mischief and encouraging mischief. So what's at stake for the people charged with those offenses?
Getting a criminal record, spending a couple nights behind bars, having a permanent stain on their record. Going forward, employment prospects dim. They are facing legal bills and uncertainty for bringing forward their values, for expressing their opinions.
Okay, going back to this guy. He's more of a train wreck.
We elected this. We chose this. So what you're seeing now is is democracy in action. You're seeing the people say, I don't want this anymore. So that's what you're seeing here. You're not seeing an uprisal. You're not seeing a revolt. You're not seeing anything other than we changed our mind.
Oh, really?
We don't want that anymore. And it's actually beautiful. It's Canada waking up. And it's funny. Like I understand hierarchy and legality, right? Like right now, Justin Trudeau is my prime minister, and I can't say anything about that. That is true. That is a fact. And I'm not seeing people here say Justin Trudeau is not my prime minister. They're saying, hey, like the gentleman needs to be held accountable. He needs to understand that what he's doing is hurting Canadians, and he doesn't seem to care because these people have been here for 3 weeks, and he's not even acknowledging. He's not even acknowledging that they exist. Actually,
if you hot tub for a couple of weeks, you can get rid of like a democratically elected leader.
He's calling them Nazis. He's calling them names without coming out here. We've made so many amazing friends. I didn't know that Alberta and Quebec had so much in common. We've made friends right across the country, and it's beautiful. Like I've made friends that I would have never expected to make. This is the most diverse group of loving people that I've ever been in.
It's like 90% white.
It's been like going to it's like a combination of going to church and going to a carnival and going to like I don't know
he's what right
else?
There.
Canada Day
Canada Day and like I don't know, it's so hard to describe, guys. It's been incredible.
Thank you for all that. That's been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep enlightening the people.
What's that?
Right. Keep enlightening the people.
Oh, we'll keep enlightening. You too, brother.
Right okay.
All right.
And can you give us your name on the way out?
Yeah, of course. Guys, I'm Jeremy. We're doing a film called Trucking for Freedom. You can check it out on the social handles at Trucking for Freedom, or you can go to the website www.truckingforfreedom.com, and there's actually a WeTransfer link there. And the WeTransfer link allows you to drop some of your footage. If you experience something that you think needs to be seen or needs to be shown, we're going to show the entire world this thing. We're budgeting like $300,000 of our own money to try to make this thing happen. So let's
got a lot
tell
of
the
disposable
story.
Income. Interesting.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
Just casually dropping $300,000 of your own money to make this documentary. Interesting.
I took my glove off to shake Jeremy's hand. Now I'm trying to put my glove back on.
Marcelino, thanks for the super sticker. Thank you. Thanks so much for that. Jeff Mack, of course, in the building. Portland Andy's Hot Dog Army, big ups. Thanks to you guys for streaming.
Portland
Eva
Army, Hot Dog Army. Thanks. Send him my footage. I should. From Canadian truckers to Eastern Ukraine, the people of the world are fighting against fascist tyranny and the Davos agenda. This is true internationalist solidarity. It's happening, everybody.
Even more serious brought forward. But to answer your question succinctly, you're looking at up to 10 years in jail, and then of course the overwhelming majority of people don't go anywhere near that kind of time frame for imprisonment. But look, it is very serious. If you do want to go on with your life and you want to have a prosperous life in this society, being convicted of mischief is definitely not going to help that. But I don't view serious jail time.
How long am I going to cover this? I don't know. I wasn't planning to cover it for this long. But
under these charges, I think there's going to have to be more brought about. Certainly
I keep feeling like I'm on the precipice of seeing something big happening.
Something more serious than a slap on the wrist.
No, certainly, Karen MacArthur, as you said right off the top, it's the fact that you get a criminal record out of this, which is a significant impediment to proper functioning going forward in terms of your professional life and your ability to cross the border. And I wonder, I'm not going to ask you to speak to the specifics of the charges against Chris Barber, but we do have his bail conditions. And Karen, I wanted to get your reaction to that. So he's been charged with counseling to commit mischief, counseling to disobey a court order, counseling to obstruct police, and mischief itself. He was released, but he has to leave Ottawa 24 hours after being released from custody. He has to leave Ontario by Wednesday at midnight. He can't support the convoy in any way, except he can pay for things like gas from his own pocket if it facilitates truckers leaving the city. I mean, what do you make of those bail conditions? Are those normal, or those seem kind of unusual to me?
Asking someone to vacate or...
Oh, this is the website for that movie he's doing? Let's see. Trucking for Freedom film, a documentary film about the Convoy freedom movement, which started in Canada. Exclusive coverage and interviews from the Freedom Convoy. Follow us as we document this movement. Filming began January 22nd, 2022 in Calgary. We are traveling and covering the story for Parliament Hill in Ottawa. Upload your footage. If one of your clips is selected in the final cut, we will message you and ask you if you would like to be credited or remain anonymous. It's your choice. Think in advance. Trucking for Freedom and those involved in this film have zero tolerance nor condone any acts of hate, aggression, mischief, violence, or separatist ideology. We implore all individuals who gather at these events to be mindful of others and uphold the values of demonstration, peace, unity, and love. The views, information, opinions, and or activities expressed within the produced video are solely of those of the individuals appearing in the video and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of the Trucking for Freedom directors, videographers, producers, or editors. This content is strictly journalism, and all content filmed for the purpose of historical documentation. Trucking for Freedom's content is not meant to promote one side or an idea or the other. Film content is objectively documented individuals in a natural setting. No footage has been altered to enforce any particular narrative. Trucking for Freedom seeks to document this movement and is not responsible for the accuracy of the individuals who've been filmed. Trucking for Freedom assumes no liability for any of the views, information, or opinions or activities contained within the content of your producer of this documentary. Chronicle Bro Incorporated is producing Trucking for Freedom and is not officially associated with any entities or organizations involved in the Trucking Freedom Convoy. Any proximity to organizers or associations are purely for the purpose of documentary and journalism. Well, I guess with that $300,000 of disposable income they have to make this, they can also hire some lawyers to tell them, hey, here's what you need to put in front of everything to never have any liability for anything that is said inside the movie.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we beseech thee to smite down our enemies. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble court jesters, here to amuse you. To our lords, Trevor R., we give thanks for this spit of land for us to eke out this meager existence. To our knights, Merid, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Ellie Leslie, Alex P., Brandon, Words Greenwood, Nate, that one guy, Hagbird Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Val 9000, Jenna Tall, Quiet 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multi Mondi, Trevor Yanis, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Cern 42, Catherine, Radical Maniac, Ramon Acosta, Nkosin, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Political Puppy, Andreas Chiringuito, Zach Christensen, Josh Mickelson, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our flag in a veil, and we salute you, our friends.